Gentlemen, gentle ladies, are there ladies in the room? Yes, don't forget you, because always men, things like that. Sometimes I forget the ladies. My name is Frank Weyns. I'm the director of OpenStack International for Rackspace. So, thanks. That's what I'm doing. But how did I came here on this stage? I think this is more important because I'm not going to tell you about the details of OpenStack, the insights of OpenStack, how Ansible works. I'm going to tell you the story of Frank. And if you're not interested in my story, you can leave the room. Don't think. But I'm going to tell you the story of Frank and how I see OpenStack, my vision, what I think it's important to know if you want to run OpenStack in production. So I was born in Belgium. I live in the Netherlands, and I joined the army when I was 18. Got in touch with satellites and computer systems and things like that. And in the army, I learned Unix systems, Sun systems, you know? Who remembers Sun servers? Ooh, that's a lot of people. Oh, God, no, that were really so beautiful, so magnificent. And then you want to do it at home. And then for my major, I got, I think, my first were 7 or 8 floppies with Slackware on it. Who knows what Slackware is? Gentlemen, bear after this session. I love it. Slackware was my first Linux distribution, and I could connect with TCP 3COM cards to my Unix servers. And then I got a new 3COM network card, and I couldn't connect anymore. Damn. So what you do? Yes, you hack the network drivers. So you could make your Slackware small Linux server connect to a big Sun server. And that's open me. The thing is, the nice thing with open source is no is not an answer. No only means we have to go further, we have to deep dive in it. So before OpenStack, Linux or whatever, I'm an advocate of open source. I like to share my knowledge. Also, during my military time, I was a teacher in evening classes, and now you go further. After 8 years in the army, I had to make that choice between my military career and computers. Because for some reason, if you want to be a major then later on, then you have to go fighting in ex-Yugoslavia, and I didn't saw that. So then, and that's why I love Sweden, then I worked 4 years and a half for Ericsson. And I used I was there as system admin in the Netherlands, and I was responsible for the environment of the non-stop Unix systems from Tandem. And the nice thing with those Tandem computers was high availability was completely built, not in software, but in hardware. 3 CPUs, mirror disks, voting system for the CPUs. They were earthquake-proof, but everything was made redundant in hardware. How different is it now? Now in the cloud, we want to have the cheapest hardware, we want to have the cheapest connections, but our new servers and our new systems are designed with redundancy by software. And that's a nice change. So I went to Ericsson, worked there for 4 years and a half. Then I did some internet service providers, and then I continued my open source quest at Red Hat. I worked 8 years at Red Hat. Linux comes KVM, Xen, virtualization, and then I fell in love with my new love, my existing love at the moment, OpenStack. Worked 2 years at Mirantis doing OpenStack here in EMEA, and then last year I joined Rackspace to promote and to make what I would call for Rackspace, to make OpenStack here in Europe available to the masses and make sure that it works. So I work for Rackspace. Let's try some clicks. No, okay. So who's Rackspace? We start as a hosting company. We manage more than 100,000 physical servers a month, 6,000 people around the globe. And the nice thing is, like I said, the only thing we care about is running production. And then OpenStack. If you run something in production, by the way, this is the easy picture, you know? That's the simple picture. That's a picture of 4 years ago what OpenStack was. So That's what we do at OpenStack. At Rackspace, it's my simple mission. We make OpenStack simple. We do it as a service, 4 nines of uptime. So yeah, that's nice. That's what we do. Those are our customers. Like I said, you see Walmart, a small company, DreamWorks, Gap, some banks. Not many European companies because, like I said, we are expanding. The nice thing is we have companies in Sweden now using Rackspace OpenStack. But one of the questions was this morning also, and also a customer get it, is OpenStack production ready? The nice thing I can say, yes, bam. Can I stop my presentation now? I go home. Please, gentlemen, it's production ready. Like with Linux, also open source, in the beginning, said, oh, Linux is going to explode my server. Same thing I heard, OpenStack is going to explode my data center. If you want to, yes, it's possible. But the fact is, I can tell you honestly, OpenStack is production ready. This year we calculated, and I'm rather proud of it, that we in Rackspace, we got more than 1 billion hours of service management of OpenStack. Physical service. Our public cloud is running OpenStack. And from that public cloud, we derived some private clouds later on to that. But the fact is, yes, it's production ready, and yes, we eat our own dog food. But that also gives me the authority to tell you one thing. Look at me. I'm not a nurse. I'm not even going to give you the pill you want. I'm the doctor. I'm going to tell you how to do it. You can disagree with me, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. And I know people disagreeing with me. That's especially my wife sometimes. And then she doesn't give me money to drink a beer. So that's what I hate. But like I said, how many nodes do you run? My colleague just in front of me, Jeff, he has a very nice setup. And personally, still do it. I run OpenStack on 1 node in my laptop. Who's running OpenStack here in the room? How many nodes? Who more than 10 nodes? 20 nodes? 100 nodes? We are running more than 10,000, and probably because of some legal things, I can't tell you how many, but many more than 10,000. But the fact is, even the nice thing is, if you are in the room and you want to test OpenStack on 1,000 nodes, I got 2 clusters available for you. One of the things that our friend, not Johan, oh, I'm so bad in names. Who was the second speaker? Monty Taylor. What Monty showed, his development of OpenStack, the framework for the development, it's run, for example, on the OSIC Center. OSIC is the OpenStack initiative from Intel and Rackspace, where we have 1,000 node clusters ready for developments to test on scale. So that's good. So how do we do that? Like I said, complexity. You got OpenStack Ansible, and what's happening is a lot of code goes in and something goes out. And that sets the scene for what I do. So when I speak to my mother-in-law and I have to speak how I make money to support her daughter, I have to explain what I do. And like I said, we provide OpenStack as a service on a monthly based billing. And if there's a problem on a Saturday evening, you call our support engineers or you call me and say, Frank, fix it. That's what we do. Who knows? The same thing is going on in the real world, in the other world, with another thing that you can also lease: cars. I'm in the truck lease business, more especially the cloud lease business. And that's what I do. So we don't want to create this for you. I don't do customizations. In my previous company at Mirantis, we did customizations. It's also a business that you can do, but I'm not in this one. I'm more in this side. I want to deliver you fast and ready, free delivery clouds. Because cloud, in general, Amazon, Azure, OpenStack, it's a tool to do something. It's like a truck. What we do with clouds is we work with data, information, make it data, ship it, do it, calculate, ask the guys from CERN what they can do with it. Like I said, they're trying to fight dark matter and things like that. But like I said, I'm going to provide you with things. And what we want to do also, and that's also one of the things, we want to hide complexity. Because 95% of the business in this world, they use software, they use data, but their core business is not diving into OpenStack or into cloud. They want to consume it, they want to use it. And that's what I do. And we got some versions, small, medium, and large. And we can deliver it everywhere in the world. How many colors do you think that we have? 1, 2, 3, limited. Like I said, we also, for example, we as Rackspace, we also support Red Hat OpenStack. And we can also deliver that on a monthly basis build. And we got what I would call a little faster model from PlumGrid with an SDN solution. And those are the versions, those are the things that I provide. Containers, anybody interested? Yes. Like I said, also one of the things that we do. The nice thing about containers is indeed that every container is the same. Everything has to match, have to work there. And that's also the thing that I'm telling you, is if you make it defined, it will work. That's the biggest problem of open source. I know in my early days at Red Hat, when I say, yeah, Frank, support us, we need support. I said, okay. But we compile our own kernel. I can't support you. Why don't you support us? I said, because then I don't know what's going on if you call me on a Saturday evening and something's going wrong. And that's the same thing now. It's like I said, get those reference architectures, use Ansible, for example, for an installation that it works fine, that when you call my team on a Saturday evening, that those guys know what's going on. I got more than 200 private clouds here in Europe that I have to support. The thing is, if we on a Saturday discover a security breach somewhere, first of all, we have to patch our public cloud. We test something. Within hours, we got a security fix for all those private clouds. And I want to make sure that when my people update your private cloud with that security fix, nothing else breaks. Because I don't want to have separate test clouds, things like that. And that only has to work if you do it in a standardized way. In the real world, also one of the things I said, and that's the way how we work at Rackspace, but I think this thing is, when you work with open source, like I said, I sell free software. That's what I do. I'm Dutch. It's hard to sell free software to the Dutch, you know, they're with the money. You can only sell something free if you deliver quality and quantity. Quality and quantity. And one of the things that you deliver with quality, how can you deliver quality, is that when you know your customer. One of the things I always say is, when you have an existing project, is that you sit together with your customer, and I said it not only Rackspace, but I mean it in general. If you're a system integrator, whatever you do, learn to know your customer and treat him as a partner. Go in that project together on the same level. Discuss with him. Use your qualities from both parties to make sure that the project is a success. And that starts with being honest to each other and telling and asking you the right questions and understand the situation. Very important. Design, same like I said. Also one of the things, sit together and decide together on what kind of OpenStack you want to use, what kind of setup, what it needs, what to be done. One thing of cloud is, with cloud, you want to make sure that you don't touch anything manually afterwards, you know? It's not like with virtualization, we create a virtual server and then we go inside that virtual server and change everything. Same thing with the design. Prepare, make a good design, stick to it. Implementation. Same thing, work together. Implement something, try something, test it, do the handover, and make sure that it works. One of the things also that you can do is, of course, and like I said, OpenStack and any cloud in general, it's a tool to do something else. And that means also that you need partners to make sure that it works. For example, we have partners who do application. We got partners who do 1,000 things, you know. But like I said, a lot of companies are asking for software as a services, and they land on our platforms. Some things that we can do together, some things we have to see. But the most important thing is when you deliver that tool, it's not a tool, it's something that has to grow in that ecosystem, it has to go further. Training. Everybody's talking about OpenStack training and things like that. Just do it. And that doesn't mean you have to know how it's going inside the OpenStack and things like that, but that you understand the concepts of OpenStack. How does it work? What's the idea behind some APIs? What's the idea how it works like that? Same thing, networking. For me, one of the biggest differences between virtualization and cloud is the automation of the network. How does networking work? How can we make it sure? How does this SDN solution work? How does the networking impact the virtual machines, your containers and things like that? Don't get into it, learn how to use it, get the concepts behind of it. Something to remember. Those are also maybe things that I think, but also, one of the nicest things and also one of the problems with open source is, if it doesn't run production, it doesn't make any money. I think everybody in this room probably likes a salary, me too. And like I said, I sell free software, so that's sometimes hard. But what you make sure is, with open source projects, everybody is dragging on, and it takes time before it's in production. When you start a cloud project, anyone, even to Amazon or whatever, make sure that you put some timelines in, and that you make sure that the only goal is to go to production. I saw implementations of open source projects in the past. They never hit the production timeline because there were changes, things like that. The world from 9 to 5 doesn't exist anymore. I have a friend, and he used to be an IT manager at a shoe selling and even a shoe factoring company in Belgium. Those guys, in the early days, for example, with support contracts, you had the 9 to 5 contracts, you know? Retail, shoe shop, 9 to 5, perfect. Why should I have support in the weekend? Now at the moment, there are more shoes sold from after how you call it, after 8 o'clock, as the ladies at the home can buy shoes at Zalando and all these other shops. So even shoe stores are now 24/7 shops. If my wife can't order shoes in the evening when she saw them, and the website says no, computer says no, I got a problem. Because I do computers, I have to fix it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Also, one of the things that we as technical guys like to do is oh, it doesn't work, let's fix it. Oh, it doesn't work, fix it, we can't fix it, okay, let's do it like this or like that. Look around. I think workarounds who are invented before are better than do you reinvent something new yourself. Like I said, configurations, not customizations. Now in the OpenStack world, there are so many configurations which are production ready, which are tested, you can use. For example, storage. One of the key components of a cloud is storage. You got now software-defined storage like Ceph. You got NetApp filers. You got the guys from Nexenta. You got solid files. All those building blocks are ready to be used. So, but use them in the way that their manufacturer, their support organization says to use it. Like also for us, we also have our predefined production-ready Ceph environments. One of the things, for example, our friends from Red Hat, they say you can run, one of the things you can do, for example, is you can run Ceph with 3 nodes. Our reference architecture says 5 nodes. And then I get, yeah, but Frank, we can run it on 3 nodes. There's a difference between I can and I run it on production. Because if you have a 3-node Ceph cluster and 1 node goes down, and you have to add another one, things are gonna start rebalancing. And I can tell you at that moment, the performance of your Ceph cluster is zero. Nada. It's up and running, that's the thing, you know? That's one of the reasons. Step-by-step approach. Like I said, if you want to implement an OpenStack project step by step, one of the things is also, I would say, sit down with your customer, talk to him about what is the first, what I would call easy application or easy step you can take running on that OpenStack cluster that you're going to, OpenStack cloud that you're going to build. Is there an organization starting developing a new application or something? Start with that. Don't try to do the whole shebang in one time. Doesn't work. It's too complex. Start with your internal customer. Do something. Make sure. Put some timelines on it, you know? Also, one of the things I said to my team members is, gentlemen, if that's not ready in that day, escalate. Even for me, sometimes it's difficult because I'm a technical guy. I want to solve it. If we can't make it before that time in an error, escalate. Do go forward. But I saw too many projects, not only OpenStack, and especially in the open source, fail because it took too long. I can be honest here, on stage, 2 weeks ago, I lost a customer of mine because we didn't deliver on time. It should have been delivered beginning of June. We couldn't. It was in July. All the customer's technical team went on holiday. So it could only start in August. And then the customer's teams didn't have any resources left to do the implementation and put it in production. Same thing in the world. A dedicated team is a must. You have to focus, you have to deliver. I'm talking with customers and they said, yeah, we'll take one resource from there, we take one resource from there, and we'll make it a success. Gentlemen, we are doing an evolution, even so for some customer, a revolution for a new technology we're bringing in. Make sure that the people you work with are dedicated. You can focus on that, you can talk with them, and they're interested in it. Same thing what I would call that equal level partnership. If the customer is not ready, and his team is not ready, it's a success for failure. Also, it's an easy one, but also one of my friends from an investment company in London, BlackRock, it's a large one, he's also using OpenStack and he loves it a lot. Those investment companies, they have to be ready and react to any moment, microsecond, if there's something is happening in the world. And he's running OpenStack. So, oh, that's scary. Especially when he had to tell his management. But the fact is, he got more than 50 OpenStack clouds. 115 everywhere. That's how he handles upgrades SLA. If one OpenStack cloud goes down, doesn't care, just rebuild it. We'll continue on the others. Same thing also what I would say with test environment production. You can work with cells, sometimes you are. It's a tool used by someone. Same thing. If you implement or you're installing in your company or at the customer site, you're installing an OpenStack cloud, for the most of the time it's new, and new is scary. Make your customers part of that journey. Even better, like I said, sit with them, talk to them, give them information, bad or good, but also your end customers, make them part. Gentlemen, at that time, we expect your application to land on that cloud. You have to test this, this, and this, and then it's a success. Hand in hand. It's not like, give me 10 kilograms of OpenStack, here it is, put it there, my dear customer, start using it. Doesn't work. Qualify, learn the architecture. Did I miss something? No, I don't think so. Again, workload is important. Oh yeah, and also one of the things that also is important, those bits. If you have special virtual machines, and you also want to run them, even like Windows, in OpenStack, it works. The only with those special virtual machines who need special attention, make sure you have the right monitoring it does work. And the only thing I can say, and I'm going to repeat it, I love OpenStack. I love open source. But the projects I saw where we really were successful is when the people understood each other. When they synced, when they communicated, when they know that, when we looked in their eyes and said, we know this is wrong, we're going to fix it, this is good, this is how we can continue. And I think that's the most important thing I want to say, and then I am open to questions. Oh yeah, for those who want to have details, like I said, I got a lot of colleagues at Rackspace who love OpenStack, who eat, breathe it, and drink it. Like my friend Jeff before, got some others. They got some good books. If you have any questions about OpenStack, I can answer them as a proxy by delegating it to my colleagues, you know. Any questions? This is Frank. This is OpenStack. This is Rackspace, open for you at your service.
Thank you for the presentation, and let's see if there are any questions. I was wondering, okay, so you had these 8 or 9 points, but would you have some tips for, let's say those points are kind of technical, but would you have some tips for the people who work with these technical aspects? Sometimes you really need to change the actual processes, otherwise you end up like in that keynote from 44 to 42 days, not with a radical change. Would you have some tips how to really tell the upper management that it's not a technical issue, but the process needs to be changed? Or is it something that...
Like I said, the same thing what I'm saying now is, if you go to your upper management, or if you want to have, like I said, you want to go there and say, gentlemen, we want to do OpenStack because now the easiest thing, everybody can do Amazon. You know, nobody's fired for doing Amazon. That's the real thing. But we want to do OpenStack. Is really, you have to be prepared, and also, like I said, one of the problems what I saw with technical guys, and before that at Red Hat, for example, when I was working with a solution architect, is that we as technical guys, for some reason, we are not proud enough, loud enough to say that I want to have it done that way, and I only accept this way, or this way, but I'm not going to accept that way, and that way. Discuss with your management. We are the technical guys, you know what is the best, but sometimes I see technical guys going into a management meeting with very good ideas, and they're coming out and they're going to do something completely different. No. You're the technical guys, you know what you're doing, you're sitting here, you're learning, bring that knowledge to your management and to your management teams and say, this is how we're going to do it, bam. And at the same thing is, make sure that you, if you're not certain enough, and am I doing the right choices, get some partners, you know, work with partners, use several partners, you know. I'm talking about Rackspace and how we do it. There's a Canonical over there, there's a SUSE there also doing OpenStack. Compare, check with what's the best fix, but use also those partners to convince internally to get those walls opened.
Right, do you have other questions? Then I have one last question. So you said you offer 2 colors, but let's say I'm a customer who have a special use case and I want a green van. Do I go to Rackspace or do I go somewhere else?
At the moment, yes, go somewhere else.
Thank you.
But like I said, the thing is like, one of the, in general, Rackspace, we are going from what I would call a hosting company, that was our past, to a managed cloud company. For example, we got now separate business units from Amazon, yes. We got those guys from Amazon. We got guys specialized in Azure. I'm responsible for OpenStack. At the moment, I got now a Red Hat version, a red version, a white version, or original one. We got an extension with SDN, with PlumGrid. I think before the end of the year, we're going to have another SDN solution. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to support the Canonical guys, but at the moment, the only thing that I'm going to show and that I'm going to do is where I can give my 4 nines of uptime. For some features, I'm working now with a car manufacturer, and they want to use at the moment Ceilometer. Ceilometer is not something I support at the moment because it's a little bit flaky. Let's put it like this. And for example, one of the things we supply Upformix to fix that problem. But with every product, and not only open source or OpenStack, we go forward. Stay in discussion, see what we can do. And if I can promise you on those parts, I give 4 nines. If you want to have that special feature and you say that I need it because of that good reason, and I will certainly have the discussion, do you really need it? Then I will say that, okay, this is where the SLA stops, this is where your responsibility is, but that you also, for example, talk with us and then we make, if that feature would fail, how we can recover. Because like I said, my only thing is I want to have customers who don't have to care about OpenStack, you know? I used to be an IT manager, and the only thing, I don't mind working during the week, but when I go on Friday evening, on weekend, spend some time with my family, I don't want to have any calls, you know? And that's the same thing with those features. Make sure that everything, if you have a special feature, that is fixed, covered. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait,
Yeah?
hold on, wait, I'm gonna bring you the microphone.
So you're doing.
Wait, you'll have to repeat.
So you're all about management and the 4 nines, but you know all about how to set up great installations and what standards, what standard setups to use. Do you sell that, like setting up something that's really good and then letting the organization handle the management?
No, that's not our business model. Our business model is really, like I said, we run for you OpenStack. You know, we manage it. You don't have to care. That doesn't mean, like I said, OpenStack Ansible. It's not only used by Rackspace. You know, it's we started it. We are one of the main contributors. We got even the project, the PTL, the project technical lead for it. But we also have other operators who do that. So if you want to say. There are people who can help you with installing, creating an OpenStack Ansible cloud for you, and then you can manage and operate it yourself. But I'm not in that business. Like I said, I want to focus on the things that I can deliver, and I'm not going to deviate from that path. A lot of other system integrators can do that for you. Please. Other questions?
Great. Then let's thank the speaker, and there's an after-event mingle, so don't run away. There will be some snacks and beers, I guess.
Beers?
I heard so. That's the rumor.
I was born in Belgium, eh? Thank you very much.